Hi, I'm Sandra Biskine, and I'd love you to engage your imagination for a moment. I'm going to tell you 3 stories about 3 people who worked with us during a Soul Choice 3-day weekend in our home. Now, the first story is about a woman who came to us and she was really upset. She said that all of the women in her family that she knew of all had either heart disease, diabetes, or stroke. Now that's a big worry. And she had been to the doctor and she had all of the markers for those things. And she said, I'm a young, vital woman. I do not want to go down the same road as my mother and my grandmothers. And that's why she was at Soul Choice. So during the weekend, on the first day we go through relationships, on the second day we go through money, abundance, and on the third day, by the way, 3 days leads up to the third day, which is where we do regeneration and healing exercises. Now you might wonder, why do we do relationships, money, and then regeneration and not the other way around? And it's really easy, because if you have emotional trauma, or if you have sabotage programs running in your system to do with relationships, love, abandonment, betrayal, money, not enough money, the stresses of money, if you have any of that working in your system, in your business, your relationships, then you will not heal. So obviously, to clear that out and then to go into the third day where we absolutely go through what it is that would stop you from living as a vital, healthy, incredible human being, having fun on this planet. And so what happened for her was she knew that we were going to do this. We got to the third day, we went through the programs, and she just sat there. She put her shoulders back and she just looked at me and she said, I feel very different. I feel free and happy. But that wasn't enough for her. She actually went to the doctors and she was tested. She had her blood tested, and the doctor came back and said, I don't know what you've been doing, but keep doing it. He said, you no longer have any markers whatsoever for heart disease, stroke, or diabetes. And she had lost 18 pounds since she had participated in Soul Choice. That's a big deal. I mean, that was one very happy person. And the next story is about somebody who came, and he was, actually he had a really great business in real estate, but the business had been floundering and the money hadn't been flowing. And that was one of the reasons why he was at Soul Choice. Just one of them, because if you think about this, can you imagine being in a room with us with only 8 other people? So this is a really exclusive event where you know you are going to get one-on-one work that actually does go into your unconscious and begins to clear out those hidden programs, beliefs, ideas, and stories that have been stored in there for decades, lifetimes even. And so he came and we actually worked with him on money blocks on the second day. And it was so funny because he went to have lunch after I just finished clearing him. It was time for lunch break. He came in an hour and a half later. He said, no, this cannot be real. He said, I just had 2 firm offers for multi-million-dollar homes that I had been sitting there for ages, and now they're done. He said, that can't be real. And everybody in the room just burst out laughing and said, yeah, that's what happens when you get rid of and clear out the emotional charge that builds up around the events, emotions, and decisions from the past that are putting an artificial glass ceiling on your ability to be successful in your business or your relationships. And then the other story that I wanted to tell you was about a couple who actually hadn't made love for 5 years. And they were strained. They were pretty angry with each other. That was just a symptom, obviously. So on the first day, we worked on relationships for them, and we actually cleared out a lot of what was blocking them from remembering and feeling what that love was like when they first met and why they were even attracted to each other in the first place. The next day they walked in. I mean, he kind of floated in the door, and she came up to me like a little fairy and whispered in my ear, guess what? We made love 5 And like, I actually was like, I didn't need to know, but I could tell just by the looks on their faces, and they stayed super close for the rest of the weekend. So Soul Choice is a very unique program and event where you get to experience letting go of that which is blocking you from having the relationships, the love, from having the money, abundance, the joy of not stressing about money. And then you get to move beyond all of that into a place where your body is constantly regenerating and reverse aging. Sounds good? Well, our next Soul Choice weekend, 3 days, is a Thursday, Friday and Saturday in November, 7th to 9th. Soul Choice is a $10,000 event, and all of the participants who have had this experience have had a huge return on investment in so many ways. So if you know that you're ready to take a quantum leap in your health, in your relationships and your business, then you are ready to join us for a very small group exclusive event. And I would love you to email me at info@thebiskinds.com so that we can set up a call and talk about what your needs are, what you're going through, and whether or not this event is right for you. That's info@thebiskinds.com, THEBISKINDS. Email me in the next week, and I'll also give you a special bonus. We hope that you are one of the 8 to 10 people who join us in November to totally and completely change your life on so many deep and wondrous levels. We love you. Namaste.